Hello, Craig.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So welcome to this interview. Welcome to Brazil.
Hey, glad to be
And
here.
and Craig,
Yes.
Brazil wants to know what TPRS is. Can you
Oh,
help us?
heck yeah. I hope so. TPRS is an acronym that stands for Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. And it's a method. It's a second language teaching method that uses best practices in their skills and strategies that all incorporates and centers around a story. And we've known for centuries that people have taught their children languages through stories and oral histories and reading, and because stories are just dang fun. And so by basing it on that, we learned that it's the fun in the story, the content is what matters. That's the target, and the language is the tool to reach that target rather than the language being the target. And so TPRS is just a method that really focuses on communication, using the power of a story for interest.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And what are the goals of
So the goals
TPRS?
for a TPRS teacher or a TPRS program, the goals are really there's two major goals. The first goal is fluency. In the end, students, in order for students to speak, they have to have just the right mixture of input, learning, acquisition, and opportunities to speak and interaction. And so our first goal is fluency, spoken fluency. Our second goal is literacy, being able to read. The goal of a TPRS teacher and a TPRS program is that students learn and have confidence in reading on their own, so that once they reach the intermediate levels or intermediate mid or intermediate high levels, they can start teaching themselves more and more passive vocabulary along with this. So along with the fluency and the literacy, they're now capable to teach themselves the rest of their lives, because we understand and recognize that you can't learn a language in a couple of years in school. It's a lifelong endeavor. So we give them the tools as fast as we can. We give them the tools to communicate in the language and then to read, so that learn for the rest of their lives through reading and communicating with other people.
Excellent, great. Now, there are more categories, but let's say we have three categories of language instructors, language teachers. A private teacher who has private students and they can teach the way they want. They can use any methodology. We have teachers who teach at English schools, and those schools use their own methodology, so those teachers cannot use any other methodology at those schools. And we have instructors, teachers who teach at like elementary schools or high schools, universities. They can teach, they can do pretty much what they want as long as they follow the textbook. So can all those categories of language instructors benefit from the training, from the TPRS training?
Wouldn't it be amazing if they could? That's a big range of people that could handle that. Well, the answer is yes. TPRS really uses basically as a natural approach. And so in all of those scenarios, there are principles, techniques, and strategies that TPRS uses that can be applied in all of those contexts. So yes, I have personally witnessed teachers, well, for sure, private teachers. I'm taking 6 classes myself in 6 different languages, and Yeah, they knock it out of the park using the method. So yes, definitely for them. For a teacher who has already a methodology that they have to use, some of the things that we teach through TPRS, they can really help anybody in another method figure out some of the whys of what they're doing, and be much more deliberate in the methodology that they actually are using, or even making minor adjustments in what they're doing to get just larger gains, just bigger gains. So yes, there are some principles and strategies that anybody can use in almost any method. And then finally, if you have a textbook that you have to use, that's where it's probably the hardest, in that, because the philosophy is different. A textbook has a present, practice, perform mentality, typically. Not all textbooks, but typically that's the mentality. Let me show you a rule, let's practice it, and now here's a scenario where you can use it. Well, TPRS kind of doesn't actually do the present, practice, perform. TPRS looks for a natural approach where we use the language, and then the students kind of figure it out in their head how this all works, without rules, or they discover the rules through using the language. However, I have personally had to do that. I taught at a university where I had a textbook. They had to learn all of the grammar rules. So I would say, okay, first we're going to learn the rules, and then we're going to learn how to speak. And I kind of want you to forget, while we're speaking, I want you to forget the rules. I just want you to try to communicate with me. And that, to a certain degree, that works quite well. Not quite as well as just doing the one, but it can be done. I've seen it done. I've experienced it for, well, all of my career. I've had to do it that way in the university context. In the high school context, I was free just to use TPRS, and it's just way better. But the truth is, if they know some of the rules and they apply some of these strategies as their speaking practice, these definitely, anybody can definitely take advantage of the training.
Exactly. And there are other things that it happened to me, like after I became a TPRS teacher, you become more theatrical when you teach. It changes your teaching. It changes the way you perceive students' production. Even though, like, I teach English for children at a private school in Goiânia, and they have their own methodology. It's a great school, but I do not use TPRS there. I use TPRS with my private students, but the principles are, internalized. They were internalized by me, and then they are part of my teaching. No matter what, they're there.
Oh, that's
Cool.
Definitely, mostly because of TPRS is really it's an internal paradigm.
Exactly.
It does have procedures. It does have procedures and techniques that you can use, but it starts with the internal paradigm, the internal mindset of how language is acquired and how fluency is achieved. And once you know the why, sometimes the how can take care of itself.
Excellent. That's it. And then let's talk about the training. What does training TPRS consist of?
Oh, this is where it gets good. Because of Zoom, we've been able to reach way more people than we've ever been able to reach. In the past, we had just gone to different cities, and whoever was able to sign up could go to the meeting room, and we can learn TPRS. But since COVID, we've been able to expand, and we've reached people from all over the world. And so now we can train in the beginner workshops. And the other problem that we had in the past is how to get advanced training. Well, advanced training, if you went to a location, a city, there are only a handful of people who could do it. So it didn't make any business sense to do advanced training except at our national conference. Well, now, because everybody knows how to use Zoom, we can do a training that is the most effective, where we do a little bit once a week. We practice it, we talk about it, we model it, and then the teachers can look at it or try it throughout the week, reflect on it, come back the next week and learn a new piece, model it, try it, work on it, reflect on it. And we can do that week after week. It only takes an hour a week. Whereas before it was 12 hours or 15 hours in 2 days, and it's like fire hose. So we have developed similarly to the to a university model, which is why we've now called it TPRS University. You can go to tprsbooks.com. Under training, there's this TPRS University, and this gives you the 5 steps: start, shift, step, strong, and serve. And so in the university program, right? This is not a accredited university. This is a program, right, of teaching TPRS. We start off with the TPRS Start. This gives you all the foundation, the principles, the basics. Basically, we're going to give you a couple of tools and a mindset, and you're going to be able to, and a procedure, and you're going to be able to start teaching with TPRS next week. The very next day, you can probably, there'll be practice. You'll be able to do at least some basic TPRS teaching right from the beginning. After that, so once that's a 2-day workshop, or 4 days. It's a 12-hour workshop, depending on however you do it. It's going to be 12 hours, and there you get practice, you get the principles, you get the techniques, all at the basic level, so you can get started. Then once you get through that and you want to say, hey, I want to get comfortable and confident at this to do this every single day. Well, you're going to get in the TPRS Shift. That's the 201 class. That's a 15-week course, one to an hour and a half a week in the evenings. And there you're going to get a coach. They're going to practice with you, model for you, and you're going to get to ask them questions, because you always have questions, and you have a weekly access to a mentor. And so that's going to get you up to this proficient, I can do TPRS. Well, the 301 is a program that now that you're proficient, we want to start giving you lots of variety so that there's just so much more interest, where our biggest focus is on student interest and engagement. At first, it's really technique, but after you get the technique down, now you can really focus on what makes kids tick. How do we make it dramatized? How do we make it interesting? How do we do this how do we do these things in 80 different ways? This is what we're looking for in the 301. And then finally in the 401, the graduation program, the capstone, this is where we apply TPRS to all types of stories, not just fictional stories, but we can apply it to a picture, pull out the story from a picture, from a movie, from a video clip, from a scar. Let's say a student has a scar and you want to say, so I have a thing called Scar Talk, where I pull out the story little by little using my expert TPRS techniques. I pull out the story little by little, building the suspense. And it just creates an engaging, personalized lesson anywhere you are. We can do this with maps. We can do that. I mean, there's 10 different ways we're going to practice to apply the TPRS master skills that you've acquired in our TPRS Strong. Once you're done with that, there's a TPRS Serve, means you can come back and teach some of these courses so that you can spread the love. You can spread TPRS to other people and make some extra money on the side. And so that's how you get training. You first you start off with the 101, get the basics down, start practicing, take the 201, 301, 401. And then in the meantime, we also have a lot of these little short workshops that go a little deeper into each thing. For example, how to build suspense in your stories, how to make it work with a textbook, how to do live theater and improv in the classroom, so just much more engaging classes, how to use little novels in the reading program. we have lots of electives that can be taken in conjunction with the university courses. So what my opinion, this is the best training you can get anywhere. It's it's really in a cohort group, a small group, weekly access to a mentor, and with just content galore.
Great, awesome. And here in Brazil, if instructors, teachers, school principals want their teachers to get trained, where should they go? Who should they contact? And is there a special price for Brazil?
Well, we do have a discount. If you put so when you go to the website and sign up, let's say I wanted to go to the start off. I want to get trained on the basics. I would come here. I would go to find a TPRS 101 class, and we'll see which ones are coming up here. Oh, here's one right here. TPRS 101, getting started with TPRS with Blaine Ray. This is the inventor of the method. So you would click on here, and I think it'll take you to a place where you can purchase it. Oh, yep, there it is. Oh, tickets are no longer available.
Starts today, or it has already started.
Oh, this is one. Oh, because it's already started. Oh, okay. So we got to go to the next one. And that is, with Vaughn. Vaughn is Blaine's son. He's been doing this for 15 years. It's been a long time. Maybe it's even more than 15 years. Yeah, so you can go and get trained by him. You add one here, you get a ticket. And then when you fill out your stuff here, and then at the end, you'll be able to put in a discount code. That discount code, shh, don't tell anybody, even though this is going on the internet, is SCH. And that'll get SCH. That'll give you a $75 off because you're from Brazil.
Cool.
And we just like Brazilians.
Oh, great. Now, you know that Blaine has come to Brazil 3 times already. We have some teachers here who have already been trained. There are some teachers here who have already been trained. So those teachers that have already been trained, who should they contact to talk about their experience with TPRS, and maybe they can attend, a higher level in the training? Or how can we help those teachers who have already been trained?
Yeah, so my role as the director of training is to handle all of those types of requests, including schools. Like if a whole school wants to have a training just for their school, they can contact me. My name is Craig, CRAIG, at TPRSbooks.com. So yeah, maybe I can even write it up on here. So Craig at TPRSbooks.com. That's where you can reach me, and I can talk that through with you, see where you might end up. If you're a really experienced teacher who can do a TPRS lesson every single day and feel confident with that, and are just looking for tips on how to make it amazing, then yeah, we can get you skipped into 301.
Great. Can't wait. Well, TPRS has changed my life, has changed my teaching. I'm very grateful because of the method, because of the results that I have with my students. And I hope that other teachers can have the same experience. And I think that it's undescribable. We cannot describe.
It really is.
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, professionally, it changed my life. Honestly, I'm being really honest with you. It has changed my life.
Yeah, I've gone through the exact same thing. I started off as a really crummy grammar textbook teacher, and I was really frustrated, ready to give up until I found TPRS. I found Blaine on the internet. Blaine happened to be my high school teacher. And so when I saw Blaine Ray's famous, why? And so I started looking it up, and I found out that with us, he had developed this method. Like I was at the very early stages of him developing this out. And so I looked at it, and I bought a DVD and watched him do it. And I tried it. And as terrible as I was at the method, my students loved it, and they were getting results already. And I said, well, what's your favorite part of the class? Oh, those stories. And I thought, oh my gosh, this feels awesome. My students like it. They're getting good at it. And they think I'm a great teacher. That it really changed my own outlook. And I switched from wanting to become a doctor to becoming a teacher because of TPRS. Maybe that's not a good thing, but.
And it's important to mention, because when I was first trained by Blaine, TPRS was completely different. It was 13 years ago. So teachers in Natal, you were trained 13 years ago. TPRS was already great then, but many things have changed, and it's even better now, right?
Yeah, we like to say that we live on the corner of best practice and next practice. We're always looking for what is that next thing that we can do to get even better results. And so TPRS will continue to evolve as we get more research, as we get more data, and we get more teachers trying their own little TPRS experiments and sharing their results. And it's just going to keep getting better all the time.
Great. Craig, muito obrigada pela sua presença, and I'll see you soon.
I hope so. I can't wait to start up our Portuguese class again.
Portuguese class, exactly. Beijos. Tchau.
Bye. Thank you.